Hello, I'm here with a person who knows a lot about technology and his videos are totally amazing. He's my friend Ziyad. He's an English teacher. He's in the States now. He's from the English zone. Welcome to the channel, my friend. How are you today?
Hey Rod, how's it going?
I'm
Thanks for having me.
fine. Thank you for accepting doing this interview. Why did you decide to teach English?
That's a really good question. Well, um, it's probably because I learned English and
Mm-hmm.
I used a lot of different methods to learn English. And then there were different paths I was going to go in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and for some reason, I ended up choosing teaching and
All right.
been a teacher for about
Mm-hmm.
total probably 8 years, 7, 8 years. I've taught English in total.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I one of the reasons I love teaching, or why I realized that I love
Mm-hmm.
teaching, or why I thought
Mm-hmm.
I started teaching, was because I wanted to give back, because English really changed my life in so many different ways, and I wanted people to know
Mm-hmm.
the benefits and how many doors that English could open up for you, so many
Mm-hmm.
opportunities. So I wanted to give back what I learned, what I
Mm-hmm.
gained. So, and I love
Mm-hmm.
it when people learn English through, when I teach or when I help them and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I could say that's why I wanted to teach English, because
Interesting.
I learned English and I wanted to teach it.
As you said that you learned English, it brings you to be just like me, a non-native English teacher, right?
Yep.
So, what is your first language?
So my first language is Kurdish.
Mm-hmm.
You probably don't even know where that is. It's in the
Yeah,
Middle East. I'm from
yeah,
Kurdistan
yeah,
originally, which
yeah.
is a region in northern Iraq.
Mm-hmm. Wow, but your English is like a native person speaking.
I
It's
identify as a
amazing.
native English teacher.
Yeah,
I
you are definitely.
do make mistakes. I do make mistakes on a daily basis. I do not care. And that's what
Yeah,
I always tell people:
me too.
not
Me
care
too.
about making mistakes. That's how you reach perfection,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
really impossible.
We learn from our mistakes, and
Exactly.
nobody's perfect. I have a video on my channel. It's called I Make Mistakes in English.
I actually encourage making
Mm,
mistakes.
yeah, yeah.
You have to continuously make mistakes, but as long
Mm-hmm,
as you realize you're making
mm-hmm,
mistakes, then you're like, oh,
mm-hmm.
then you can correct your mistakes and you can continue
I
improving.
think, as my British friend Gino says, we should learn a language like a child. We have to be stubborn. A child, when they are starting to walk, they stumble and fall. They get up again. Stumble, fall, get up again. Stumble,
Yep.
fall, get up again. When you are learning a language, that's the same process. And I agree with him.
Well, I
Do
want to
you,
add something to that as well.
of course.
And they continue stumbling and falling, and they don't even care
Yeah,
about judgment.
yeah.
That's one big problem. We
Mm-hmm,
always fear judgment of others,
mm-hmm,
right? When you're a kid, you
mm-hmm,
fall, you just stand up,
mm-hmm,
you keep walking. But when you're an adult, you
mm-hmm,
fall, you stand up, you're like, oh my God, who
mm-hmm.
is walking? Right?
Yes, I agree with you. Out of the four abilities of English, which is your favorite?
I would say my favorite would be listening and speaking.
Yes. Do you have any memorable moment with a student that you can forget during these 8 years?
Ah, I I'll have to think for a second. I have so many. Oh well, I think this is a good one. So one time I was teaching a group of beginner students. They're all beginners,
Mm-hmm.
and this also has to do with why I love teaching listening and speaking, is because it's so important. You say
Mm-hmm.
something a little bit incorrectly, sometimes
Yeah.
people don't
Yeah.
understand you.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm putting my students in different groups. I'm like, okay, this group, you're gonna work on this activity, and all together you're going to, do the assignment and you're going to present it to class. This group is doing this, and there's one student who's really beginner. He didn't understand the
Mm-hmm.
explanation, instructions and
Mm-hmm.
everything, and
Mm-hmm.
he just like kept sitting there alone. And I'm like, no, Mohammed, I want all of you together work on it. He thought I told him I love you. I was like, all of you, all of you. He's
All of
like,
you.
I
All
love
right.
you too, teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was super, super funny.
Yeah, I have a similar story. When I was in class and I was teaching, and I said, but I can't do something. And a student of mine said, "Who's but I? I don't know any but I." That's the same because we bring the language together and we put things
Yeah.
together and they get mixed up. But I have a story because in Brazil, to study a second language is very difficult in economical terms and in a lot of terms. And I have the pizza story. It was a Monday,
Yeah.
and a student of mine came to me and said, "Teacher, we had a party this weekend at home." I said, "Oh, nice. What were you celebrating?" And he told me, "We had pizza." I said, "Oh, nice. But what were you celebrating?" He said, "We had pizza." And that brought tears to my eyes because pizza was the celebration. So just by having that pie of pizza in
Oh
front of
my
them,
God.
and that brought tears to my eyes instantly because I'm helping a teenager to learn another code. I never forgot that story. I'll always bring this story
Amazing.
with me because I think it's so, so poignant.
Very
Uh,
powerful.
yeah, yeah. I have another story I think you're going to appreciate. You don't notice my disability as long as I start walking because I
Mhm.
have 25% of your balance. Like if you come to Brazil to visit me, I need your arm to help me walk. I used to work for a franchising school before having my own with my wife. I went to the waiting room and I invited a student. He looked at me funny and he went into the classroom. He asked me point blank, "You're going to teach me this way?" I said, "I'm sorry. You're going to teach me this way." I said, "What do you mean?" "I'm sorry, sir." I said, "No, you walk this way and you're going to be my teacher." I looked at him straight in the
Wow.
eyes and I said, "Let's do something. Let me teach you one class. If you don't like my class, we'll find another teacher for you. And you can have another teacher from next class on." And he told me, "All right." And then at the end of the class, I forgot about the story because I learned to have a thick skin. I was being professional. I gave my very best. I really forgot about it because when I talk about English, it seems to me that I am really at home. And then he came to me with his eyes filled with tears. He said, "I apologize." I said, "For what?" "Because I misjudged you. Because of the way you walk, you wouldn't teach me well." And he said, "No worries." And he told me, "I really loved your class because we use the word love in Brazil a lot to say that we like things."
Mm.
And I said, "Oh, I'm really happy." And I said, "You know what you can do to me?" I told him, said, "No, you come back for the next class if you like it." 4 years later, I handed the diploma to this student.
That's really incredible.
Mm.
Wow. And I'm so impressed and humble, like how you went through that first phase, because a lot of people would react and, say something otherwise.
When I was telling you the story, that's what I like about the interviews. I liked your reaction. I am meeting you today. And for me, it seems that we know each other for many, many years. There's one thing that I learned from Aretha Franklin: RESPECT, no matter what. That's what I think. when teaching is concerned, when talking to people is concerned. Having you for an interview, I am so, so proud
Oh
because
my God, thank
I
you so
think
much.
you are very, very talented. You go out of your comfort zone every day. You inspire me with the way you record things, with the way you explain things.
Well, I appreciate you. I think all of us, we all have uh, things that we're able to do, but for some reason we're afraid
Mhm.
to get out of there and try something,
Mhm.
or try it out.
Mhm.
Sometimes we need to experiment things just to see what works for us, what doesn't, what uh,
Yeah.
just explore, right?
Mhm.
That's actually how I started the
Yeah.
TikTok channel.
What is the most valuable lesson that teaching English has taught you?
That's a really good question. One of the things that I have learned about teaching English is uh, the fact that someone else's life changes because of me
Mhm.
making an impact in someone else's life, because the way I
Mhm.
look at English, I don't look at it in a way. And I'm
Mhm.
not saying, oh, everybody must learn English. No, if it works for you, learn it.
Mhm.
If it will have if you don't think English is
Mhm.
beneficial, don't do it. But
Mhm.
the way I look at English is like everything is available in English. The internet
Mhm.
is in English. You can communicate with anyone in the world in English.
Yeah.
And so that's the bridge I try uh,
Mhm.
to connect. Uh,
Yeah.
and when I find out that
Mhm.
someone reaches that level of
Mhm.
independence and they can
Mhm.
communicate,
Mhm.
that's one lesson, one changing lives. I think.
Yeah, I agree with you entirely, and I think that it is amazing. But what is your creative process when you are working with social medias? How can you be so creative?
I think a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I do, and not. I don't think too much, but I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
uh, a lot of times, the stuff I share is I don't. I'm not trying to prove anyone wrong. I'm not trying to
Mm-hmm.
tell anyone to do anything.
Of
It's
course
it's
not.
mostly kind of like self talk, and I'm like, maybe somebody out there can relate to this.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and the way I started first with Instagram. I was just
Mm-hmm.
Well, I started with Twitter. I used
Mm-hmm.
Twitter as a tool to like a notebook. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
came to my mind, I would just like tweet it.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
once
to the
I
world,
did that,
a
yeah.
notebook to the world.
And I have one thing I loved it at the time is like I had no followers on Twitter, and I still don't. And because I wasn't doing it for anyone, I was just speaking out what was in my mind. And then I
Mm-hmm.
started making posts on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
like quote whatever came to my mind. I would use it, put it on a photo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then at the time I was also doing like my podcast and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then I started bringing these little quotes that I had and started making videos for TikTok with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how basically that's how it started. And a lot of times uh, well, this is something interesting. I think we all have a sense of creativity, but we need to find it where it is. What
Mm-hmm.
what place in time, or what place or what time
Mm-hmm.
um, do you feel inspired? Do you feel
Mm-hmm.
creative? And we should visit that. I made a video about that. I said, find your inspiration spot. I don't even know if that's a term, but I
Mm-hmm.
call it inspiration spot, um,
Mm-hmm.
because for me, it's driving. Driving is really relaxing for me. I love driving. I love road trips. I love going on, just
Mm-hmm.
being like in my car and driving,
Yeah.
uh, or like just being in a car. It doesn't matter, even if I'm not driving. I like to be
Mm-hmm.
outside, and so And
Mm-hmm.
when I drive, it's really calming, and like I think a lot. I listen to audiobooks, listen to
Mm-hmm.
podcasts,
Yeah.
and so and I get a lot of ideas, and I write them down later and make posts about them. This is one book I want your people to see.
Mm-hmm.
Still like an artist.
Yeah.
What's the author's name? Yeah, Austin. What is it? Austin Kleon or something. He's amazing, and this is so true because if you really think about it, nothing
Mm-hmm.
is original. Uh, as long as
Yeah.
we don't cheat, as long as we don't steal ideas entirely, you're
Mm-hmm.
inspired by someone or something, and you come up with your own idea to do something. You're
Yeah.
not stealing. So if you're stealing something like an artist, do it.
There's a Brazilian artist. He died in the early 90s. I'm going to loosely translate what he says in Portuguese. He says it like this: I see the future repeating the past, and I see a museum of great novelties.
Wow,
His name was Cazuza. This is too strong. That's
that is,
exactly what you're saying about this book.
yeah. Everything is continuously repeating.
Yeah, yeah.
There will not
Hmm.
be another Steve Jobs, but there will be
Yeah.
somebody else that's going to do something.
What is an advice that you give my audience to keep or to be motivated to start studying English?
Well, this is an advice that I'm going to steal from a teacher that I learned from.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he said, always try to see the end result in your head already.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're
Mm-hmm.
taking your first step, if you are
Mm-hmm.
learning English, but you are impatient, you want to reach that level
Mm-hmm.
of excellence, perfection, slow down.
Yeah.
Slow down, but see the end result in your head. See yourself that you're already a native
Yeah.
speaker, or you don't have to be a native
Yeah.
speaker, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
see yourself that you're already speaking fluently.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagining that will push
Mm-hmm.
you to create um, habits
Yeah.
and motivates you on a daily basis
Mm-hmm.
to continue getting better. And that you can apply that to anything else in your life. You want to
Yeah.
get anything, you have to first see it in your head because it's all
Mm-hmm.
everything is self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
Things we do. If you say I'm not going to learn, you're really not going to learn,
Yeah.
right?
That's true. And you only learn and you only have time to learn what you want to learn, because what you don't want to learn, you'll never find time or you'll
Exactly.
never make time for it.
Yeah. I made a podcast episode about why your English is not improving, and
Mm-hmm.
one of the points I made was
Mm-hmm.
um, English is not your priority, and it's so true because
Yeah.
you have to go to work, right, to make money to help your family. You have to go to school,
Yeah.
pass exams because
Mm-hmm.
you see that as a priority.
Mm-hmm.
So if English is not in that list, it's just going to your English is going to improve as much as the
Yeah.
efforts that
Yeah.
you put in. So
Yeah. That's why I love doing these interviews, because I learn from every guest. You
I'm
know,
learning so much from you now.
you are very kind. Well, we're heading to the end of the interview. Now we're going to play the rapid round game. So, teaching English is
Awesome.
the English zone is
Easy.
the most beautiful word in English is
Genuine.
genuine is
Ah, it is. I don't know. Genuine is a word.
okay. If you had to define yourself in one word, what would that be?
That's a tough one, brother. I would say growth.
Excellent. Excellent. Now you can ask your questions.
Okay. Brazil is
Huge.
That's a good one. Rod's hometown is,
A country town.
yeah, I used to live in a small town here, and those
Yeah.
small towns give you a good. Rod is
Rod is a father, a husband, an English teacher, somebody who's a freak about the English language, and somebody who loves to make friends.
well, you are a friend. That's nice. Your YouTube channel is
Just scrolling. Like a baby, you know, just scrolling.
nice,
You know?
nice. Portuguese language is
Wonderful. Very beautiful.
it's a beautiful language. I love that. There are few languages I love. One is Spanish. I like the sound of Spanish. And one is Portuguese. I like the way it sounds. The United States is
Awesome.
COVID is
Scary.
nice. Rod's family is
My foundation.
that's beautiful.
My all.
Love it.
My all. For every guest, I have a sentence, a quote, a takeaway. And for you is creativity, something that fascinates me. And you are very, very creative. During this interview that we are doing right now, I could learn that you used another word that describes you really well, which is genuine, is the key for this interview. You talk through your eyes the same way that I do. I am really flattered and honored to have you as a guest because I think the way you do and describe things on your platforms is amazing. Kudos to you.
I really appreciate you. Like you think you're a fan, but I'm already a huge fan of yours too because of all the effort you put in and what you're telling me. I loved hearing your story and how passionate you are about teaching and helping others. 8 hours a day, 9. It's amazing. So
You're really awesome.
thank you so much.
Thank you very much for inspiring me. When I watch your stuff, it brings me a lot of ideas.
We're all helping each other.
Yeah.
We're all connected because, like I told you, the TikTok thing I did was, even though it was towards the end of the interview, I'm sorry, but
no,
I was meant to do that because I was scrolling on TikTok. Somebody was like, if you want to do a caricature of yourself, here's how you can do it. And then I'm like, and I already had some ideas to make videos, but I didn't really want to be in front of a camera and didn't have time and, just be in a studio, whatever. And probably also wasn't very confident. I was a little bit insecure.
Well, I would talk to him for hours on end, but unfortunately, I have to bring this interview to an end. I hope you liked it. This was my new friend from the English Zone. All his platforms will be in the description below because he's amazing. Thank you so much
for having me.
Hello, it's Rod's friend here, Gino from Real Everyday English. Sorry for interrupting your video. I just want to make a quick recommendation that you subscribe to Rodrigo's channel. He's an amazing guy. He's so humble, he's so dedicated, and he creates absolutely fantastic content. See you people soon. Bye bye. God bless.